what you're going to do is you're going to place your sketch. So you should have already taken a photo of your sketch with your phone or scanned it in, or however you want to do it. Have it someplace on your computer where you can find it. So you're going to go File, Place, and you're going to find it. This is the one that I'm using here. And you can come into your space and you can just click one time and you can resize it from there, or I'm going to do it a better way. I'm going to go File, Place, and with my loaded cursor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag to get it on there. Okay, now I can see that I need to make it a little bit bigger, but what I want to do is I want to size it proportionately. Okay, if I just start pulling this, you can see how it's going to distort it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that I've got some room here, and I'm going to hold down Shift to constrain the proportions, and I'm going to pull it just so that it fits nicely on the page. You've got a little bit of space on the top, you got a little bit of space on the bottom for your totem to breathe, about like that. Okay, and I'm just going to click off, and so there I've got that. Command 0 to get me back to full screen. So that looks about right. In the Layers panel, right here, what I'm going to do is where it says Layer 1, I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to call that Sketch. And this, where it has the little eyeball here, that's to show it or not show it. And there's an empty space next to it. You're going to click right there to lock it. And that way, this is just going to stay there. You're just going to work with it underneath here, and you're not going to accidentally move it around. From there, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create new layers on top of it. And I know that I've only got 3 figures here. Yours is going to have 4. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer for each of my figures. So this first one, I'm just going to call it 01. You can call it top figure. You can call it by the name of the person. You know, whatever works for you. So this is what I'm going to be working with here. So I'm going to start building this part here. Now my sketch is a little bit faded, so when I build it with black lines, it's gonna show up pretty well. You may want to pick a different color for your lines while you're building it, and I'm just gonna show you what that looks like. So if I go to Properties, first of all, I know I'm gonna start with these feathers, so I am going to get the Ellipse tool. So in your Properties panel, I'm going to do a Fill of None. That's the way you're going to want to start so that it's easier to see your sketch underneath. And for the stroke color, I'm just going to make it red for now. I'm not going to keep it red, but that way when I'm building it on top of here, I'll be able to see it real easily. Okay, so let's zoom in. And when you're building things, you really need to zoom in as closely as you can. So let's see how we can do this. I'm going to hold down Option because I always build my ovals out from the center. It makes more sense to me. Since this is a live shape, right after I build it, I can make some adjustments to it. Okay, so you can see that these have a bit of a point to the ends of them. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get into the Pen tool. And let's see, I've got to select this. Well, hold on a second. Maybe I need to have the white arrow tool. Okay, so I'm gonna, I've got my pen tool here, and what I'm gonna do to convert these points here is I'm gonna hover over my anchor point and I'm gonna hold down Option to get the upside down V, and I'm gonna click on that, and that's gonna make that a point. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing down here. Okay, I'm gonna do that another way too. Hidden behind the pen tool, you've actually got the upside down V. So if you want to do it that way, that's fine. You're just going to go up there, and as long as you've got your smart guides on, which you should have on, a little check in front of that, it'll show you when you're over the anchor point, and I'm going to click there, and I'm going to click there. And then I can come in, and I can see if I can reshape this a little bit, make it a little bit fatter. Okay, and the reason I'm taking so much time on this is because this is the feather that I am just going to copy for all of these other ones, and then I'm just going to rotate it. So I want to make sure that I've got it the right size. So that seems about right. So what I'm going to do, the quickest way to copy something is to get your black arrow tool, and I've got to get on the edge here because it's not filled with anything, and I'm going to hold down the Option key. Now don't get on a point here, just get on the edge here, and I'm going to hold down the Option key. And why isn't that showing what I want it to show? Okay, so by holding down the Option key, there it is, you can make copies. Okay, and so then with each of these, I can take and rotate those and move them into place. And if your design is symmetrical, exactly the same on both sides, then you don't necessarily have to build both sides. You could build one side and just copy and paste and flip it. And so that's what I'm going to do with these feathers. This I've got 4 on this side, I got 4 on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these, and I'm just going to click on this first one with my black arrow. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to click on all of these other ones. Okay, so now I've got all of those. And now I'm going to get on the edge here. I'm going to hold down Option to get the double arrows. And I'm going to click and pull over here. And until I click off of them, they're all together. So what I'm going to do, because I need to flip them, is I'm going to go up to Object, Transform, Reflect. Okay, and this little box here will give you a preview of what it's doing, because you have to choose between horizontal and vertical. So vertical is the one I want. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to move these into place. Let's see, we need to rotate this a little bit more. All right, and it doesn't have to fit exactly on your sketch. Your sketch was just a sketch anyway. So there I have the feathers. All right. Now, this would be a good point to name this, because it says Untitled up here, which means it has not been saved yet. So I'm going to go Command S for save, and I'm going to name it something, Totem Pole Building. It's an AI file. Put it someplace where you know it's supposed to be. I'm just going to put mine in my temp folder here. Click Save, just click OK, whatever that is, and now we've got it saved if the apocalypse happens. All right, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to work on building the nose here. So what I've got to do is I've got to kind of evaluate what shapes I can use to create this. I'm going to go back into the oval and make sure I'm on my correct layer here. I'm going to start here, hold down Option to build out from the center. And I'm going to get that. Pull that up a little bit there. Okay, so that kind of creates the top part of the nose and this round part here. Okay, I'm going to create another oval here. And let me pull that. So that's to make that rounded part there. I need to pull it a little bit more so it matches up with the bottom there. Okay, now I'm going to do that for the same side over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and drag it over. So I'm going to hold down my Option key while I'm on the edge, and I'm going to pull that over there. Okay, so now I have to combine all of these, and there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I can click all 3 of them, Shift click, Shift click. I can go to my Pathfinder window, which is right here. I'm in my workspace 2313, and I can click this first one, which is Unite, and that gives me that. And that's pretty easy. That's a lot easier to do than working with your pen tool to create that. Now it looks like I've got a little bit of a bump here, but that might go away when I create these nostrils here. All right, so what I've got to do is I've got to kind of cut these out of this shape. So I'm going to make another oval. Let me pull this in here. All right, I'm gonna copy this and move it over here, and then I'm gonna go Object, Transform, Reflect, and pull that into space. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to cut those areas out of this area. And for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Shape Builder tool. You could use the Pathfinder again, but I want to show you both of them. So I need to select everything, Shift click and Shift click, and I think that's everything. And now I'm going to get the Shape Builder tool. And remember, if we were to click and drag, we would be combining all of these. But what I want to do is I want to actually cut this out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Option, and you see how I get the minus, I get the little minus sign there. So with Option held down, I'm going to click and drag over that, and I'm going to click and drag over that. And if we turn off the sketch layer, you can see what I've got here. That's pretty good. What I probably need to do is I probably need to get rid of a few of these bumps on the bottom. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to get my white arrow tool and click on it so I can see this here. And then I'm going to get the pen tool. And remember, with the pen tool, if you hover over a point that's already existing, it's just going to get rid of it. So let me get rid of this one and this one. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, so that will work. Okay, let's try and do the teeth and the mouth here. All right, so I'm going to evaluate the teeth. Let's see. I'm going to get the rectangle tool. Again, I'm drawing Option out from the center because it just makes more sense to me. I got that turned a little bit too much. All right, and now I want to get these curves in the corner. So these little widgets right here, when I click and pull those, it's going to pull all of the corners in. All right, so now I've got that tooth right there. Okay, so I'm going to copy that for all of these over here. I'm going to get it black. I'm in my black arrow tool. I'm going to hold down Option to get the double arrows. Let's see, maybe I need to click off of it, click back on it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to make this tooth here, and this one is not turned quite as much, and it's a little bit wider. All right, and I need to pull this top part down a little bit, and I'll show you in a minute why we need to, because we're gonna cut it out of this lip area here. Let's see, make it a little bit bigger this way. Okay, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to take both of these teeth and I'm going to repeat them over here. I'm going to Shift click to select both of them. I'm going to hold down Option to drag them over here. Go up under Object, Transform, Reflect. Okay. And just pull them into place. That's pretty good. All right, let's do the bottom teeth. There, I'm going to round it. I think that's rounded too much. That's better. Rotate it a little bit. And you're working from your own sketch. So if you want to do some editing at this point, if you decide that something's looking better, a different size, different direction, then that's fine. Just don't veer too much off of the sketch that I approved. All right, let's take both of these, copy them over here. So you can see we're doing kind of the same thing over and over again. All right, so now we got all of the teeth. So I need to draw, let's see, I need to create the lips here. So I'm going to do this, I believe, with the pen tool. Okay, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to click one time. I'm going to click and drag. Okay, and now I'm going to, this is a little bit of a corner here. So what I'm going to do, instead of just coming over here, you see how that throws it out too much? What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this point again. You see I got the upside down V. That means it's going to convert it. And I'm going to come over here. Now I know I'm going to have to come back and adjust those handles. I'm sure I am, because see, that's not going to give me what I want. I click on that. Click on that, and I might be able to get this curve. That's pretty good. All right, the fewer the points, the smoother the curve. Okay, to create this top curve, I could have clicked here, and then here, and then here, but it's going to be a lot smoother if you can just have a minimal number of curves. So I don't like what's going on down here. I'm going to get my white arrow tool. I'm going to click on that point to get the handles. I'm going to move that so that it's working a little bit better. And I can't seem to get what I want on both of them, so I'm going to show you a little trick here on the handles. You see how when I move one handle, the other one moves also? There's a way to just move them independently. What you've got to do is you got to get the arrows. Now I've got them so you can't really see them, so I'm pulling them up here. And when you grab on one of them, I hope this works, if you hold down Option, you see how you get the little plus sign? You can move, you see how the other handle's not moving now? I can move that independently of this other one, and I can make some more precise turns there. All right, now I am going to create the outside of the mouth. So I'm going to start here, and here I am going to add a couple of points. Let's see. All right, I'm going to click on that to turn the corner. And you could just draw half of it and then repeat it if you wanted to do it that way, if that's easier. I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to close that up. And I guess I want it sitting right at the edge of the mouth there, of the nose rather. Okay, so great. Now what we've got to do is we got to get rid of these parts of the teeth that are hanging over the mouth. And the way that we're going to do that is we are going to select this part of the mouth, and we're going to select each of the teeth. You can see I've got it selected when it gives me this little center mark. Okay, now the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to get the Shape Builder tool, and if I hold down Option to get the minus, I can come through here and I can just click each of these to get rid of them. Okay, and so periodically what you're going to want to do is come back over to your layers panel and turn off your sketch to kind of see how things are working. So that's looking pretty good. Click off of it. That's looking pretty good. All right, so you're going to continue to build that. I would wait to fill things in as long as you can make sure that you are creating closed shapes. If you want to check on things, you can do a Command A. You can get your Shape Builder tool, and every place where I'm going to end up dumping color, I can see that those are turning. Well, that's not. So I might need to, let me see if I can click and drag. Okay, so now that's one. Well, still not making one shape there. Well, when I dump in color, I'll have to make sure that that's working there. Oh, you know why? I know why that's not working, because I think I've got something with the gap. If I double click this tool, see how I have gap detection? I'm going to uncheck that. All right, now that's working. Okay, that's going to fill in okay, and I know that all those are going to fill in okay. So as long as you're creating closed shapes and you know that they're closed shapes, you can wait to fill in the colors. I would not create the entire thing without filling in colors. Probably what I would do is I would build this top head and I would fill it in with color, and then I would move down to the next one. But just to show you how we're going to continue to do this, I am going to say I've got this all done. I'm going to lock that layer. so that I don't accidentally grab anything there. I'm going to create another new layer. I'm going to call that 02. And then I'm going to come down to this one, and I'm going to start building this one. So I'm going to evaluate these little feather things that are off to the side. And what I want to do is I want to start building these back ones first and then these in the front, so that I don't have to do a whole lot of, when I fill them in, I don't have to do a whole lot of shifting of the layers. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to use the pen tool. So these two, this one and this one, look like these are the furthest back, so I'm going to build those first. And I'm on layer 2 here. I'm still have a fill of none. So I'm going to start here, and you can overlap this because that part's not going to show. Okay, so it's okay to have that there. It's better to have a closed shape so that you can fill it in, and then these other things are going to sit on top of it. All right, so that's that shape. I'm going to come down here. And there's that one. All right, the next one up is this one here. So I'm going to click here. And actually, I'm going to have the mouth sit on top of it. So I'm just going to kind of click here and get that like that. Okay, next one up would be this one. I got to be kind of careful the way I do this. And then this one. And the forehead is gonna cover that one. Okay, so I know it looks chaotic right now, but what's gonna happen is when I fill them in, you're gonna be able to see that they're in the right order. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me get my colors here. So I'm gonna, so it doesn't keep closing, I'm gonna pull this out here. Okay, so let's just fill them all with yellow. And actually, I ought to be able to select all of them and fill them all in with yellow at the same time. Okay, so you see how now, since they're laying on top of each other, they cover up the background part there. And when I build the face, that's going to cover over the area there on the edge. That's a lot better than trying to do it. I'll do it on this side. This is the way you don't want to do it, okay? You don't want to just, well, see, I overlapped it, which is because I'm so used to doing it that way. If I were to just follow the lines, and I want to have it filled with none. Yep, I still started too high. All right, here we go. There. Okay, so there would be that shape. Again, this is the way I don't want you doing it. And here. Okay, you see how much harder this is to do? And you might even end up with some kind of gaps that you don't want. All right, let's see how we did here. Well, I did pretty good. I closed them up pretty good. But this way is going to be a lot easier to do. Things are going to overlap so that you don't end up having some weird gaps. Okay, you see how you've got, let me see if I can get this off of here. Okay, you see how you've got this here where this is not matching up well. You've got double lines right here. It's just not as clean as this is. And you can really get the curves working so that you want them to. Okay, so what I would do is I would, oh, and you want to be saving along the way. Obviously, just Command S. After you've saved it the first time, you can just Command S after you've done it a little bit. After you've worked on it for the setting that you're at, be sure that you're saving it to 2 places so that you don't lose it. Pull out all of the notes that you've got on how to use your shape builder tool, how to use your Pathfinder, how to use your pen tools. We went over everything that you need for building this. Okay. My the best warning I can give you is don't, if you've got like a tablet that you're working with, don't just come in here with the pencil tool and draw all of the lines, do the whole thing, and then expect to come back with the shape builder tool and fill them in, because you might run into problems. Please, if you're doing it that way, make sure that you're filling it in as you go. Okay, so I'm warning you guys now. So when you come to me and you say, Chuck, none of my shapes will fill in, or they're filling in and they're looking weird, they're not looking like they're supposed to look. Yeah, I've given you warning. All right, good luck.